I want to talk about switching your perspective from the one that you have now to a wider, grander perspective of the entire world and life and birth and rebirth. When we look, when we start looking at perception, perception is something that from every point of view, you perceive something a little different. So, in order for us to be able to understand one another, we got to start being able to level the perception so we could all look at life from the same perspective. Whether whether you're looking at it from a rich point of view, a poor point of view, we should all be worried and understand the flow of life that goes into the entire world, including the earth, which at our times right now it's we need to put a lot of work and a lot of ideas in how we can improve our earth, our climate, and all of that involved into one, because everything that we do is tied together. So from the perspective that we use right now, we use basically a perspective that you see everything from your two eyes, and that's how you perceive everything. But there's a lot more life going on than your two eyes. There's a lot of things you can't see. And when you open your mind to understand that there's all these things that we can experience, but we can't experience them through our eyes, which that means that in order for you to be able to experience everything that's around you all the time, you have to go inside and heighten your senses to the outside world. Because the view that we look at our world from right now is the reason why the earth is in trouble, and all of these other things, humanity being in trouble with these sicknesses and everything that's going on. It's because of the way that we've gotten used to living that's caused life to get to the point where we are. And this is just a warning. It's not the end of all. This is a warning from Earth letting us know that we need to change the way we do things. And I believe that it starts with perspective, because here's the thing. Something I heard the other day that made a whole lot of sense is, how can you change? Okay, so if you go into some sort of self help or something of that kind, you will have to, you want to change yourself in some form or way. You want to be a better person. You want to have a better temper, and you want to be more understanding. Okay, so when you do that, when you decide that there's something about you that you need to change or improve, who's doing the improving? In the end, it's going to be you. You got to do the work. You got to improve yourself. So therefore, you cannot improve yourself. The way what you can do is change the perspective of the way that you're doing things. And that's where it begins. Everything changes from that point of view. From when you change that point of view, when you start looking at things where just about everything in life is connected in some form or way. You might not be able to see it, perceive it at that moment in time, but as you go down and start looking at the root level of all the problems and all the things, they all lead back to things that connect to one another. So, for example, someone dumping, throwing plastic outside without being unaware of where that plastic goes might not really understand what's going on there. The person just thinks, well, I'm just throwing trash outside, no big deal. But then when you look at it from the perspective of where that plastic ends up and the harm it does to the earth, then you start looking at things from a different point of view, because then you start realizing that your actions have an equal reaction. For everything you do, there's a chain of reaction that happens right after you do whatever it is that you do. Whether it is something as simple as, breathing. As you know, when you breathe things in, you're breathing something else out, and it gives to the air, it gives to the earth, and it gives to the whole mechanism, the trees, and all of that, and it comes back to you. So if you look at it from just that point of view, that how your breath alone connects you to the inner and outside world, it's easier to see how everything else is connected. From, like I said, a simple thing as breathing to a more complex thing as you doing karate or MMA or going for a jog. You might not see at that point where this is all connected, but it really is. I didn't see it when I first started trying to learn and reach it within myself, get the wisdom that I already have. When I started getting in contact with that, I started realizing that there is everything in our life is connected. You start seeing it, and it's crazy how you start seeing like even the same types of people. You might see two totally different peoples, but they have a certain type of behavior that makes you kind of intertwine them together, and you're like, oh my God, that's so crazy. And you start seeing patterns in life. You start seeing how there's patterns in everything, even in behavior, numbers, angles, geometry. All of that is so interconnected into everything, and it goes with the cosmos as well as well as what the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, human kingdom. It all just ties in together. That there is no little action that doesn't have an equal reaction. So the way we've been living is so off balance that it's throwing everything off. And now everything needs to reset and get back. It's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take a lot of work from everybody. But it can be done. We don't have to be like bleak and be like, oh, this is over. It's not over. It's just a new earth. It's a new beginning. So, yes, it might not be the way we're used to living life, but it is what it is. You got to go with it. It's like the Tao. You got to be like a leaf in the wind. You kind of got to go with what's going on and change as a human being and I shouldn't say change but evolve, just kind of continue growing, and that's what's supposed to happen in this life. And because of the fact that we work so much, there's so much going on in our lives. We're always being bombarded with all these things and entertainment and the news and making us fear what's going on in life. It's hard for you to sit down and try to like meditate and get in touch with your inner self and get to know what that soul deep in there, who that is, and how it connects to everything else, and start seeing, like I said before, I don't mean to keep repeating it, but just the way that the smallest things in life are connected to bigger and bigger things in life. So, like they say, your body, your whole body is like one mechanism, one organism, just like Mother Earth is. So, like you could say we're the cells of the earth. Um, and we do like little jobs that help the earth live. That's how it is with the cells that we have in our bodies. That they all have a little job or a big job, however you want to look at it, um, from that point of view. That little cell, that immune system, that DNA has a bigger job, and you only see the little bit of it, but they each have that interconnection with each other that makes the whole work. And that's how the whole universe works. That's how our body works, and we're all interconnected with it. Um, I hope I didn't get too deep on this very first video that I'm putting out. I hope everybody could kind of follow. If you got any questions, leave them below. I'll be more than happy to try to answer them and maybe take a step back or a step forward on how I go. But I'm gonna keep recording this journey as I keep going forward and forward. Namaste.